Hey, I'm Ziv, and this is On the Journey. Every week on the journey explores the intersection of wellness, spiritual inquiry, mental health, personal growth, and purposeful living through the eyes of the people we interview. And today I'm happy to host Katie. Hey, Katie, welcome. And, you know, how can you help me? My life are far from being fulfilled. I know I can be happier, healthier. How can you help me?
Well, thanks for having me, Ziv. I'm Katie. I founded Deep Line Health Club, which is a virtual wellness studio. I'm based out of Chicago, and we focus on offerings that help to bring your stress levels, your nervous system into a more regulated state. So all that's my belief system is rooted in stress management. So I think that the first thing that's important to do is to ask questions. When you're feeling anxiety, when you're feeling sad, to try to get away from the idea that there's something wrong with you, that you are you're just a depressed person, or you're just an anxious person, and that's just something that you have to cope with. But rather look at the environment and the situations around you and start asking questions about how you can make changes. And I think the best way to do that is by infusing small changes into your life, whether it be 5 minutes of journaling in the morning or 5 minutes of meditation, small promises that you can keep to yourself so that you can show yourself that you are there to take care of you. And perhaps you start opening up and you're able to see some of the triggers in your life and move those triggers out. I think it's really hard to just take things away. Let's say you're in a friendships that are draining, or your job is really overtaking your life, or you have poor boundaries with social media and that's bringing you down. Rather than say, take it away, quit your job, take off the social media, how can you add in your life things that are going to regulate your nervous system, your stress response, so that you eventually start to pivot over time in a life that's more supportive of your mental health and your physical health.
Okay, wow, Katie. So these are like we have here a few subjects, and I would love to understand more. So let's talk about these daily habits. Okay, so you mentioned the journaling, you mentioned the mindfulness, meditation,
Yeah.
and so I think like many people, we know about the benefits of mindfulness and meditation. Tell me a bit about journaling. How can it help my anxiety or my stress life?
So journaling is a really effective tool, especially I've practiced many different types of meditation. Within our health club, we have a meditation membership where we try different things. And one of the meditations that has been really powerful for me, because I'm a busy mind person, and I always felt like I was meditating incorrectly because I felt so busy. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a matter of inviting your thoughts into the experience with you rather than trying to get rid of them. Again, just creating a better relationship with the thoughts. But we did an exercise where we spoke gibberish for 10 minutes, just gibberish. And that action of just getting all of those sounds out, I was able to really drop in deeply into my meditation and catch the wave, they say. So I've found that was very similar to the experiences I've had with journaling. So at times when I have been making shifts in my business or shifts in my relationships, my mind gets very busy and it's paralyzing. I just think. So by spending 5 or 10 minutes, or maybe you decide 3 pages, and just getting out a stream of consciousness, any thought that comes to mind, it's a dumping, it's a releasing, it's a putting it on paper so that you have that clear space again, so that truly you can make decisions that you already know, that you are, your body and your mind already know what your decisions are. It's just sometimes they're a little bit, there's too much noise to hear. So this just takes a little of the volume out, and then you can move through your day easier. At times when I've been very stressed, I've journaled multiple times per day, and then I'll go times where I don't really like need it. So for me now, I'm at a place where I use it more in transitional periods. But if you're somebody that's feeling very anxious on a daily basis, it would be a wonderful practice just to start your day or finish your day with 5 minutes of free writing. Help you sleep better.
Amazing. So it's like cleaning. When things
Very
are
much.
cleaner, it's
Brushing your teeth, taking a shower. We do all these things to help us feel better, right? We feel good after we take care of our hygiene. This is your mental hygiene. So it's a small practice. I have to say, on the hygiene realm, even something as simple as committing to making your bed every day seems so silly and basic and not important, but there's an act of intention to oneself. There's a choosing to make a space or do an act that's supportive of the future version of yourself, so that when you do come home and look at your bed, it's made and you feel that little bit of self-love, self-care. The same thing with the mindfulness practices like journaling. If you're doing that on a daily basis, you feel cared for, and that's going to help bring you down.
so like we have like two benefits. One is the actual cleaning, and one is the effect that I took care of myself and I showed myself self-love. So it's like an act of kindness toward ourselves.
Yeah, it's that building self-partnership. We look so externally. I wish my partner was better. I wish I had a partner. I wish my boss was nicer, or any of the reasons that we feel held down, and we're neglecting all this energy that's pouring out that we can self-partner. And when you feel held and you have a trusting relationship with yourself, your daily stresses don't feel so heavy because you have someone holding your hand. That's you, but it's a strong hand.
It's a great one. And the thing that loves you. Wow. And then you talked about the triggers that we can, like, in a way, we can fight all those things that come into our lives, but we can also. So how do we use triggers?
Yeah, so I think that what happens for a lot of us in our modern society is that we're actually like, if our stress was a cup, we are, not down here with this much in the cup. We're here just barely filling over. And so because the cup is so full, it's hard to know what is, we're just catching, we're moving so fast and just getting through. So by regulating the nervous system through these little mindfulness practices, we take some of that out of the cup, and so that we can see the cup filling up. We can see the change build instead of just always being ready to spill over. And then you identify, is your trigger that you are beating yourself up inside with guilt and worry? Is your trigger actually a relationship where you need to have a conversation or make a change? Is your trigger it's typically comes down to self. It typically comes down to some element of how you're interacting in a situation. And you can start to really watch your mind go like, oh, I am spiraling into that fear space and that worry space. And I think that's again where meditation can be so helpful to build that pause between incident or trigger and the action or feeling of fear and worry, and how that paralyzes us. By building the pause, you can notice the emotion come in, you can acknowledge the emotion, and then you can allow it to move along.
Hmm.
And
So,
the less full you are in that cup, the more chance you're going to have to allow that.
okay, so if I would try to rephrase it, you say, okay, so our cups are more than full, they're spilling. We are bombarded with things because we have so many triggers. And if we allow ourselves to be able to pause and then to identify or observe the triggers, we have enough space with how we react to them internally and externally. And then I guess over time, we can eliminate, right? Those triggers, or change the way we react to them.
Exactly. It's really just changing the way you react to them. You could have a child that you say, it's time to put your coat on, and that's not a trigger for them. They haven't had a battle there, so they put their coat on. And you have another child who will not, and it's a big deal. Well, the action's still the same. It's still putting on a coat. So why is your experience so much different than this experience. So you may not actually be able to eliminate things that are in your environment, but you will start to notice less of the calling in less of the triggers and noticing more of the good stuff. It's sort of like you're feeding the good wolf instead of feeding the bad wolf. So the good wolf will get a little bit stronger, and over time, you'll never be away from anxiety completely. You'll never be away from fear or worry or guilt completely. But again, allowing those moments to just be a cloud passing by, not a cause to burn the house down or hide.
Sounds great. Sounds great. So, Kathy, we are almost at the end of our interview, and I would love to ask you, like, for me, that last question. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to do one thing that will improve my life. What would it be?
Take a cold shower.
Whoa! How did we get to that?
Right? Well, I mean, this is your nervous system. This is vagus nerve. I'm sure that's such a hot nerve right now. But vagal toning, you don't have to get into a cold shower. You can take a hot shower. But if you can put that water to ice cold for the last minute or so and allow your body to calm down with that stress, that perceived element of stress, you're going to set yourself up for a better regulation through your whole day.
Whoa.
Facing that danger and facing it heart open and just breathing and regulating yourself down, you're going to show yourself that you are capable of doing that.
Katie, I'm definitely going to do it tomorrow morning.
Good. It'll change your life.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So thank you so much for this interview, for all your experience and insights and really interesting perspective, and definitely for the cold shower, which I promise you I'm going to try tomorrow.
I hope you do. Hey, you feel alive.
I already feel alive and I didn't even do it yet.
Yeah, energetics have started coming in. Good.